Western Mass News on ABC 40.
Good afternoon. We begin with developing news out of Bradley International Airport. Avelo Airlines has announced they will be stopping their services out of Windsor Locks. Welcome to Western Mass News at 4. I'm Susan Goodman. This is the second airline to announce they're leaving Bradley in just a matter of weeks. Western Mass News reporter Madison Lasowski joins us live from the airport with the details. Madison, this is crazy.
Yeah, Susan, I mean, this is the second airline to pull out of Windsor Locks in just a couple of weeks, and it's something that's extremely concerning for travelers. The Connecticut Airline Association, writing this morning, or Connecticut Airline Authority, rather, announced that they were, quote, disappointed and surprised to learn of Avelo's decision, something that will impact anyone who flies to Montego Bay, Jamaica, as Avelo at Bradley is the state's only nonstop flight service to that location. And just over a week from now, Spirit Airlines will be ceasing operations at Bradley as well. Dan Medwin, a frequent flyer from Atlanta, Georgia, tells Western Mass News that even though he typically does not fly either of those airlines, as a traveler, this news is troubling for him.
I think it's a big problem. I think diversity in the marketplace in terms of choice of airlines is really important, and any loss of airlines makes it more of a monopoly for the other airlines, so that's a big factor.
Avelo just got back to our newsroom moments ago, sharing with us that their final flights out of Bradley are coming up early next year. First, Cancun, Mexico will be ceasing their flights on Saturday, January 3rd. Flights to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic will be done Monday, January 5th. And flights to Montego Bay, Jamaica will cease operations on Sunday, January 25th. The CAA wrote their feelings in a statement that reads in part, "The CAA is especially disappointed on behalf of the community, which has fought so hard to secure nonstop service to Jamaica over recent years. The decision to cancel the MBJ route is inexplicable, given the strong ridership, subsidies received, significant airport incentives, and community support." Now, we have reached out to Bradley International Airport to comment on the matter, but we have not yet heard back. However, coming up at 5, we'll have more about Avelo's statement to our newsroom, and coming up at 6, we have more from the Connecticut Airport Authority on their feelings and why this is a difficult decision and how this is going to be hard for airports and airlines in our community. For now, reporting live at Bradley International Airport, Madison Lasowski, Western Mass News.